Our story into understanding Jim Marr's fascinating book, Population Control: How Corporate Owners Are Killing Us, begins with a mysterious monument in Elbert County, Georgia, known as the Georgia Guidestones. This enigmatic structure, often called the American Stonehenge, was commissioned in 1979 by a man using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian. Its message, inscribed in 8 modern languages and 4 ancient ones, is both fascinating and disturbing. But the worst message on the Guidestones is its directive for humanity's population to be reduced to under 500 million, so that people can maintain perpetual balance with nature. Let that sink in for a moment. The current world population is nearly 8 billion. So, what does this mean for the other 7.5 billion people? Some see the Guidestones as a call for a peaceful and just world, but others, including conspiracy theorists, see something more sinister. They point to the stones' celestial alignments, reminiscent of secret societies like the Freemasons, and suggest a link to a shadowy group pushing for a new world order. But the Guidestones are just the tip of the iceberg. Let's talk about the late Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, who once said, "In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus." Now, that's a chilling statement, but it reflects a belief held by some globalist leaders that overpopulation is the greatest threat to humanity. In 1981, Prince Philip warned that if population growth wasn't curbed, we would face a major disaster. He wasn't alone in this thinking. Maxwell Taylor, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, went even further. He suggested that by the beginning of the 21st century, it would be necessary to reduce the world's population, particularly in third-world countries, using methods like disease, starvation, and regional wars. And here's where things get even more unsettling. In 1974, the National Security Council issued a classified study known as the Kissinger Report. It stated that population growth in less developed countries was a serious threat to U.S. national security. The study outlined a covert plan to reduce population growth in these countries through birth control and what many interpret as war and famine. This policy may have even supported the wars and airstrikes in the Middle East, leading to a decimation of populations there. But here's the kicker. There is significant evidence that claims of overpopulation are spurious. The real issue might be one of population density rather than population growth. For example, according to the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, the state alone could accommodate over twice the Earth's current population if each person in the world were given just 100 square feet of living space. This illustrates that the Earth still has plenty of room for everyone. Not that everyone would want to live in one state, but the globalist narrative persists. In 2009, some of America's leading billionaires met in a private Manhattan home and formed a group called the Good Club. They reportedly agreed that human overpopulation was a priority concern and that they would back strategies to tackle population growth as a potential environmental, social, and industrial threat. And it's not just billionaires. The federal government has been involved in controversial population control measures. In the early 1970s, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg hinted that the Roe v. Wade decision was partly motivated by a desire to reduce, quote, populations that we don't want to have too many of. But where did this idea come from? Some researchers suggest that Ginsburg was influenced by the writings of John Holdren, a prominent figure in the population control movement. Holdren, along with Paul and Anne Ehrlich, co-authored a book called Ecoscience, which advocated for drastic measures to control population growth, including involuntary sterilization and even putting sterilization chemicals in the water supply. Holdren later claimed to have renounced these views, but his past statements raise serious questions about the motivations behind population control policies. The question is, who gets to decide which populations should be controlled, and what methods are acceptable? The answers to these questions are deeply troubling and point to a potential agenda that prioritizes the interests of the wealthy and powerful over the rights and well-being of ordinary people. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you'd like to learn more, I would highly recommend picking up a copy of Jim Marrs' book. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends. And leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep fighting for a better world.
This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book Population Control: How Corporate Owners Are Killing Us by Jim Marrs. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.